did, I guess, the vulnerability piece come into it? Because you had a lot of power, you had a lot of passion within the Stanford, and when did you start to learn like, oh, there's the other side of this coin? When should I start listening and growing in that respect with my athletes?
I think I learned it in sort of drips, like here and there. And I I was Stanford for a year, assistant coach at Harvard for a year, and then I was hired to be a head coach when I was 25 or 26 at Brown University. And all of a sudden, as I think as an assistant coach, it was really easy for me to be vulnerable and to, to kind of catch the um, catch people sort of on the way down
Hmm.
and help them on the way up. When I became a head coach, I had this idea that I needed to be perfect, and so probably not a lot of vulnerability in front of the team
Hmm.
for a while. Um, but with individuals, when I look back, I do feel like I um, had a lot of patience and was able to help people individually. But I think as a leader, I one guy that I coached from the '90s told me, he said, I always thought you had it figured out, but now that I'm your age, I realize you were faking it like like I have to. And I think I was faking it, but I actually did think too often that I had it figured out. And in some ways, that confidence is really powerful because nobody wants to follow a leader who is never confident. But in other ways, it was detrimental
Hmm.
because I was slow to learn some things. I think as soon as I had kids, so that was around 1999, um, that is when I started thinking, oh, okay, there's these people that I'm coaching are what's coming not too far down the line. And so not too long ago, they were, this age. And of the children that I have that are just these miracles that I have in front of me. And I think uh, as I started dealing with people who I'd say in the early 2000s, I moved to the University of Richmond away from Ivy League schools. Ivy League schools self-select for people um, that are just really academically
Hmm.
gifted and highly motivated. University of Richmond, same thing, but I was able to work with some people who had some differing abilities, disabilities, um, learning disabilities, and and it was cool to see a wider range of people. And then when I got to Tennessee, I discovered, okay, I'm coaching people who are first generation college for whom it is, for some, it was really important to the family, for others, not that important. Coaching some people who are turning down Ivy League schools, and then a lot of people in between with different learning challenges, really different learning backgrounds, never would have, like, an elite education was not what they were looking for. They were looking for an elite swimming experience.
Hmm.
And they're able to get an elite education, and they're also, some of them, able to work their tail off through dyslexia or some other kind of learning disability. And for me, I had to become a lot more flexible, which meant that I needed to put a lot more effort into being empathetic
Hmm.
and learning more about different people from different backgrounds. And that was that was kind of magical. Like I loved that growth process. And I think there was a vulnerability that came with that.
Yeah, yeah. Similar experience for myself. The town I started to coach, completely different from where I grew up. 50% of the high school that it was coaching at went to college. The rest would enter military or trade school, and then a whole different varying home life. And where I would come in with the tough, we gotta bust tail, work hard attitude. These guys, they often needed a parent model. So my skill set was limited, and then started to really just unlock where, okay, I still want to make an impact. they don't need another dude just jumping all over them for this and that. So then it was okay, understanding the social emotional growth and development that led me down a rabbit hole to understand, okay, where was a gap at 7, 9 years old in their development where they had a block, parents divorced, they moved, and they just missed that lesson. That's why they're acting out. So
Yes.
not taking it personally, they're looking for that lesson from a long time ago. And then again, this is where the last line of defense mindset came in because yeah, their welder boss is not going to give a damn. So I
Yeah.
got to.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it. And the I think the developmental process is so much easier to understand once you've been coaching somebody for multiple years. So
Hmm.
the 22-year-olds we have on our team are so different from the way they were when they were 18, and it's beautiful. But if you coach without that growth process in mind, then you may be more likely to take something personal when they start acting out instead of thinking, okay, it's my job to understand this, not react to it.
Hmm. I got a lot here to cover. I know we're pushing our time here, so we'll fly through. Um, do you think about leaving a legacy on the sport of swimming? Like it's given you so much, and you've given back to the sport. And then, I mean, if we look at your bio on the Tennessee website, it's there's, I mean, 100 names there that have gone on, athletes that have gone on to have accomplishments. So, uh, is it more about those athletes? Is it more about the sport of swimming? Where do you feel your legacy lies here through Tennessee, or just reverberations?
Reverberations for sure. Like I'm not really that interested in my legacy in the sport of swimming. I uh, and having said that, I care so deeply about swimming. I think it's an amazing sport, and it's somewhat under threat with the changing landscape right now. So I want to do whatever I can to save it for the sake of people to come, but not for the sake of my legacy. I just
Hmm.
like I'm in a position of where I have some power and responsibility, and I feel an urge and an obligation to act. The I think the question of legacy is always one I've struggled with because I heard somebody say maybe 15 years ago, like, it's the question, they were asked the question, how do you want to be remembered? And their answer was, I'm not even sure why I want to be remembered. And we all want to have some sense of significance, but I think if we act in a way, like if I act in a way so that I want people to remember me and I want to be significant in their lives, that's not really acting for them. It's not
Hmm.
really giving to them. So what I do want to do is treasure the opportunities that I have with people and make sure that I'm doing the best job I can to give them what's going to help them grow.
Hmm.
That's really satisfying to me. And if they don't remember it, I don't, that doesn't bother me. Um, they do. That's the thing, but that's not really what I'm looking for. I, I, I love the challenge of the moment with any athlete. And I love hearing what a 35-year-old says that the the 20-year-old version of themselves learned through being part of a great team experience.
Hmm.
That makes the world a better place. That is, I think that's a legacy of swimming. It's a legacy of all of us, of our team, my coaching staff. It's if we can be a place that where excellence and love and goodness gets put out into the world and amplified through time, then that's awesome. I think that's maybe what I, I want to make sure that I don't waste my life. I want to make sure that the gifts that I have and that I have worked to create and that I was born with are not wasted.
Hmm. And then in line with that,